Hi there. Welcome to Metaphysical Monday. This is Inner Power Training, and I'm Rebecca. I've got my LifeWave X39 patch right here. You know, there was a time when I could barely talk. My throat chakra was so blocked from something that, is going on in this 3D world. Well, these patches came into my life and changed everything. I've been wearing them for about 2 years. In fact, there's one called LifeWave that I was using on my lower back because I was getting stiff a few days ago. Guess what? It's all gone, the stiffness. They work so well. There's a link below. Check it out. They're called LifeWave patches. They've been around for a long time and they stimulate your stem cells. They're anti-aging. I really believe in them. So check it out. But today I want to talk about my favorite topic again, which is manifesting, and this is Metaphysical Monday. There's never been a better time than now to be a metaphysical junkie because aren't things really getting stirred up in the world all over the planet? You can't ignore the fact that the muddy waters are being stirred. A lot of things are being exposed. People are getting triggered and reacting to the news in ways like I have never, ever experienced before. There's always things going on in this 3D world because that's the way it is. It's the law of polarity. You've got the yin and the yang, the high and the low, the good and the bad, the up and the down, and that's always the way it is. But you need to know how to shift your perception so that you're not miserable, because if you're not studying some positive philosophies, spirituality, metaphysical truths, you just might get stuck in the matrix in a way that you feel trapped. And that's a terrible thing. I've been there. There's nothing worse than going through the dark night of the soul when you feel like there is no solution. But you know what I found out? There's always a solution, and it lies within. You have to go within and find the solution, or let it just pop into your consciousness. Because when you let go, let God, amazing things can happen. But you need to take a good look at what's driving you crazy sometimes. You can't just shove it under the rug and ignore it. You have to take a look at it and make up your mind that you're going to get a solution. I'm going to give you a few ways you can do that. First of all, you have to, I think, have the belief system that good always will win out over evil if you let it. It's powerful. Evil has no power when you stand up to it. I've seen this happen over and over and over again, where, you think something dire is going to happen, and then at the 11th hour, something comes in to transform the situation. You get saved, you get healed, you get the money, you get the whatever it is you're looking for, and things fall into place if you're a believer. Now, if you're a real negative person down at the lower rungs of the emotional ladder, where you're experiencing anger and fear and misery all the time, you're blocking. You have to neutralize. Let me tell you how you do that. If somebody is in your experience who's very negative, and there's a lot of negativity around right now, people are very, very polarized and they're very triggered. But guess what? They're not doing themselves a favor by being negative. They're hurting themselves. And when you get to the point where you can just observe it and have compassion for these people to a certain extent, but don't get sucked in to negativity, because there have always been negative people and positive people, but we're just seeing it very enhanced right now in our experience. So what you need to do is go to that place where there are no problems. And rather than reacting to someone, even if they're very close to you, like a spouse or a relative or a child or whatever, neutralize it. Go to that place where you feel they are enveloped in unconditional love that you are feeling for them. Your thoughts are that powerful. You can transform a situation. You may not change them forever yet because they don't want to be changed. It's up to them. We can't change anybody, but we can change how we experience people in our experience by having the right filters. I tell a story in my book, Secrets of a Metaphysical Flight Attendant, about how one day I was in the aisle of the airplane. They were all tugging at my apron and hitting me on the butt and wanting, drinks and whatever. And I thought I was going to lose my mind. I thought I was going to scream, but instead I left my body. I like floated above my body and I could actually feel myself above it in the middle of the aisle. And I had this vision of me being like a Mother Teresa, feeding the starving people in Calcutta. And I had compassion. And then I came back down into my body. And I actually heard a voice say, "Love looseth me and lifteth me above hate's thrall." I heard this male voice say that to me. I hear this male voice every now and then. And it guides me to a better place. Love looseth me and lifted me above hate's thrall. When I got back down into my body, it was a completely different scene for me. They weren't bothering me anymore. I could just enjoy serving. I realized it wasn't about me. It was about being able to be there and just do what I could do as a flight attendant, serving the passengers. And you want to know something? From that day forward, they never bothered me again. I stayed above it. I stayed above it. And when I went to work, rather than expecting to be entertained by the passengers, I didn't expect anything. I was just there enjoying what I did as an observer. And I remember I would even share this with other crew members in the cockpit or flight attendants that I was working with, that you didn't have to get down into it with them. You could stay above it and be at peace, be happy, and not let them bother you. It worked for the rest of my career. It's a little bit more difficult to do it with people that are intimate in your life, close members of your family and whatever, but it can be done. And if you remember to do it, to go to that place where there is only unconditional love and not react, don't react, don't react. It doesn't do you any good to react. You can have these big arguments with people and it's not going to get you anywhere because you can't change someone. But you can work on yourself and use what's going on planet Earth as an incredible experiment to hone your abilities to be a more loving manifester. Because the more you let go of those negative emotions, the more protection you have as a being. If something comes along that wants to hurt you, or, an accident is going to happen, you'll be lifted out of it. You'll be protected. You won't be affected. I've seen that happen over and over again in my life. The other thing I just want to share with you is that it is so simple, we don't get it because we're always thinking we have to react to the outer world. It's the inner world that's controlling the outer world. So when we remember to remember, so you have to remember yourself, remember to remember, because it's so easy to become hypnotized, put in a trance by all the crazy things that are always bombarding us in the world. And you don't have to let it upset your equanimity. Very important to stay balanced, stay in that place where nothing is either good nor bad. It's the way you perceive it. So if you want to have a blissful experience while you're living in this three-dimensional world, like all the current day mystics are even talking about, Eckhart Tolle with the Be Here Now, he was the Power of Now. Ram Dass was Be Here Now. I read that book back in the 60s, and it is all about being in the now. Because if you are right now in the now, as you're listening to me, you're not worrying about what tomorrow's going to be like or the future, and you're not dwelling on your past, because those are the things that upset us. The programming that we've gotten from our past just keeps us, reiterating the same thing over and over and over again, like a loop. Or if we're concerned about our future, we can't really enjoy what we're doing right now. And that's all we have. As we move along in time, it's always right now. So that's why it's so important to be present and study the mystics. Get this book, The Secrets of Manifesting, a Practical Guide. And then I have a follow-up one, The Secrets of Manifesting Mastery, that came out after this, that has a 30-day journal in the back of it that you can use to really focus in on transforming yourself into the best version of yourself.